Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here. I've got a new deck tech for you from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Don't forget to watch and comment on all of our Precon upgrades for the set. We are announcing the winner live on our Twitch channel. To win one of any of those Precons, that is going to be happening, of course, the day this video goes live. 9:30 Central Time on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chaoticcommandermtg. So if you haven't left a comment on all those videos already, make sure to go ahead and do so. And of course, like and subscribe so you can see more awesome deck techs. But let's dive into this deck. If you didn't watch the Abzan Precon build, we ended up taking out Betor, Ancestor's Voice, and I thought it was such a unique take on the Abzan Wedge that I decided, why don't we just build a whole deck around Betor? So Betor is a 5-mana 3/5 Spirit Dragon. Flying lifelink, at the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to one other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Return up to one target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this deck is all about paying life and gaining life, and getting stuff for both. So you can lean more into life gain and get 1/1 counters on your creatures. You can lean more into life loss and go into, reanimation. Doing a little bit of both here. We've got lots of creatures, 29 of course. We want to be reanimating them, right? So might as well have lots. Angel of Destiny, flying double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. Beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attacked this turn loses the game. This card's really great in here just because, it's essentially giving anyone who already has lifelink double lifelink. Because it doesn't give them lifelink, it just says that they gain life when they deal damage. Your opponents are also gaining that life, but they're still losing the life that the damage is dealt. And then it's also after the damage is dealt. So if you kill someone, they can't gain the life. So pretty nice. And then, of course, because your creatures are growing bigger and bigger, you may be gaining 15 life in a turn, right? So there is that. Beldros Witherbloom, really great here. 7 mana, 4/4 flyer. You can pay 10 life, untap all lands you control, activate only once each turn. And then in the beginning of each upkeep, you make a 1/1 black and green pest with when it dies, you gain a life. So Beldros is also losing life, gaining life, but you can just pay 10 life to untap all your lands. And this is a big life gain deck, so you may be getting that back. Birds of Paradise, just a great mana dork here. Blossoming Bog Beast, when it attacks, you gain 2 life, then creatures you control gain trample and +X until the end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. Some of the life gain is, life gain with your commander, so not as ideal there, but if in other instances where you're gaining a little bit of life, then this definitely helps buff your whole team. Children of Corliss, sacrifice it to gain life equal to the life you lost this turn, and an easy card just to sacrifice and then bring back with your commander. So very, very good there. Creeping Bloodsucker, beginning of your upkeep, deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So you're essentially gaining 3 life on each of your upkeeps. Very cool there. Darkstar Augur is, a 3 mana, 2/3 flyer with Offspring for a black. So you can pay 4 mana and get 2 of these essentially. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card in your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. So it's card draw when you're losing life. And yeah, there's some big mana stuff in here, but you want to lose a little bit more life, right? So you can get some big creatures out of your graveyard. So that's something to think about there. Then, of course, you have Delighted Halfling, which is a great mana dork here. Doom Whisperer, you can just pay 2 life to Surveil 2 at any time, which is pretty amazing. Also a 6/6 Flying Trample. Envoy the Ancestors. Modified creatures you control have lifelink, and of course you can Outlast to give it a counter. Essence Warden, whenever another creature enters, you gain a life. We're also running Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant to bolster that life gain. Exemplar of Light, whenever you gain life, you get a 1/1 counter on the creature. And then whenever you put one or 1/1 counters on this creature, you draw a card once each turn. So pretty much once each turn cycle, you can be getting counters on this and drawing card, so pretty solid there. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, a fantastic burst card in this deck where you're going to be draining your opponents and gaining a lot of life. Guide of Souls, another Soul Sister card to gain life, but you can also give other creatures 1/1 counters and flying, so very solid there. Haywire Might, just exiles a non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. and you gain 2 life when you do it, so solid there. And then you can bring it back with your commander, so pretty neat. Kamiya Whispered Hopes adds more 1/1 counters, and it's just a great mana dork. You can just put counters on this with your commander, and now you can tap this for a bunch of mana. Keen Duelist is similar to that Darkstar Augur. Beginning of your upkeep, you and each target opponent each reveal the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the mana value, and put the card revealed into your hand. You see a bunch of the Strixhaven Witherbloom cards work really well in here. That green-black, because that's also about losing life and gaining life. And when that deck came out, I wanted to make an Abzan life gain, life loss deck, and there wasn't really one out, but now there is. So again, very excited. Kutsil's really good too. Opponents can't cast spells during your turn, which is always a wonderful effect to have. And then whenever one or more creatures you control with power greater than its base power deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So there's more card draw on the deck, while also giving you some protection on your turn. Lotho's amazing to get more treasures, ramp up a little bit, and you're losing life, so that kind of strategy is with the deck. Rodolph, Dustbringer, Flying Death Touch Lifelink. So for 6 mana, you get a Flying Lifelinker, and whenever you gain life, it gains Indestructible. Beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 mana, 1 and an Orzhov hybrid. When you do, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. So also doing similar things to your commander, and it's just adding another color, so very strong there. Sakura Tribelder, good ramp. Sarah Ascendant, essentially a 6/6 lifelinker in this deck with flying, so very solid. Shadowgrange Archfiend is pretty amazing in this deck. If you are madnessing this, there isn't a ton. There's actually, I don't think there is a lot of discard that I added in here, but you'll pay 8 life for that. And then when it enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures sacrificed this way. So you're gaining a lot of life when this enters the battlefield. So very cool there. And if you're able to madness it, you're losing life and you're gaining life. So pretty cool. Twilight Prophet, if you have the City's Blessing, you begin your upkeep, reveal the top card of your hand. Each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, or X is its mana value. So nice there. Viscera Seer is also really neat. If you need to get a creature in the graveyard for your commander to get back, Viscera Seer. Vona Butcher Magan. Vigilance Lifelink, you can pay 7 life to destroy a non-land permanent, activate only during your turn. So just removal there. It would need haste, so not ideal, but very solid. And then Witch Enchanter just destroys an artifact or enchantment when it enters, and it's that MDFC. For sorceries, we just have a lot of ramp mostly. You 3 visits, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Law, Ramp and Growth. I'm really okay with these 3 mana ones, Cultivate and Kodama's Reach, because our commander's 5 mana, right? We want to be getting our commander out a turn early, maybe 2 turns early, right, if we're lucky. But that's kind of the plan here. We're also running Toxic Deluge and Tip the Scales. Toxic Deluge, Tip the Scales, a new card. You sacrifice a creature. When you do, all creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. So you could be sacrificing one of your creatures and then getting it back with your commander. So I kept this in on this, or I took this out of the precon, and I'm putting it in here just because you could be sacrificing, one of your lower toughness creatures. Maybe you buffed it and you just want a board wipe. That's also very possible. 3 mana for a board wipe is pretty great. Rushikar's Expertise, we're getting some big creatures here, so drawing lots of cards, getting a free spell, always amazing there. And then Debt to the Debtless. Each opponent loses 2 times X life, you gain life equal to the life lost this way. Just took a way to either end the game or put all your opponents on standby, like you're about to die. So a very strong card there. Instance, we have a Chroma's Will, which especially with very powerful creatures, can end the game or kill some people. Anguish of Making, exiling a non-permanent and you're losing through life. If you use it on your turn, that's helpful. Assassin's Trophy is great. Beast Within is great. Bitter Triumph is nice because you can also pay 3 life for this one too. Collective Resistance, destroy an artifact enchantment, or you can protect one of your creatures. Crypt Incursion, a card that I think is really underused in the format. You exile all creatures from target player's graveyard. You gain 3 life for each card exiled this way. So in most graveyard decks, they care mostly about creatures. So this is a good graveyard hate card, and you're gaining life. So very good there. Generous Gift. So we were running, a lot of that, permanent any kind of permanent removal package. Heroic Intervention is great. Inscription of Abundance is awesome as well. If you can kick this, so 5 mana total, put 2/1 counters on a creature, you gain X life or X of the greatest power among creatures you control. Target creature fights another creature you don't control. And if you have a creature with lifelink, you're gaining more life. So solid there. Malakir Rebirth is a way to protect your commander or other creatures. And of course it has Malakir Mire as the backside. And then Teferi Protection is nice. If you don't like Teferi Protection or some of the other, kind of game changer-ish cards, then you can also replace them with different spells that do similar things. Clever Concealment is nice. You could do, Eerie Interlude. You'd lose the counters, but you could do Eerie Interlude. That's one that doesn't protect you all the way, right? If you want to have a more fair card. Bolas' Citadel, an actual game changer, apparently. I haven't looked at that list quite yet of all those cards, but very strong in this deck. You're going to be, gaining life with a lot of these spells you cast, so paying life to do that is really great. Lightning Greaves, of course, is fantastic to start immediately gaining life with your commander when it enters. Same with Swift Boots. Shadow Spear can give another creature lifelink, and can also give the creature you give +1/+1 counters to trample, so really strong. Great Hinge is amazing too, just because it'll cost less eventually, and it's also going to card that's gaining life and drawing cards and putting 1/1 counters. So it really does a lot of what this deck wants to do. And then Whip of Erebos, similar, giving your creatures lifelink, and you can return creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield, but they do get exiled at the end step. Black Market Connections is amazing enchantment. You're losing life, and you can most of the time full send. Full sending with this is great, just because you can get a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter. And then that's a card you can start putting these 1/1 counters on with your commander. Call to the Ring is really great too. You're going to be paying 2 life to draw an extra card, and the ring's also tempting you. So with your commander, you can make it so that creatures with bigger power can't block it. You can start drawing, discarding, and then you're going to make it so your opponents lose life eventually. So that's something to keep in mind. Font of Agonies, whenever you pay life, put that many blood counters on Font of Agonies. Then you can remove 4 blood counters from it, destroy target creature by paying 2 mana. So great early game card, but yeah, I mean you could argue taking this out. It's not amazing, but it's solid, repeatable removal in here. So very good there. Greater Good also, if you need to get a creature in the bin, you can just Greater Good, sacrifice a creature with a bunch of 1/1 counters on it, and go from there. Lunar Convocation, beginning of your end step, if you gain life, each opponent loses a life, and then at the beginning of your end step, if you gained and lost life, you make a 1/1 bat with flying. You can also pay 2 and 2 life to draw a card, so very solid there. Ripples of Undeath is, you're milling yourself 3 cards, which is good. You want creatures in your graveyard, and then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand, so very solid. And then Sylvan Library, also a card where you're paying lots and lots of life to get extra cards into your hand. So very, very good deck here. You could probably use a little more life gain, because the life gain here is usually in smaller amounts, except for Sarah Ascendant, but it's typically small amounts that you are gaining life in, but you with Soul's Attendant and Essence Warden, you're gaining life in your opponent's turns too, so you're not getting as many +1/+1 counters. It's mainly about getting some of these creatures out from your graveyard. We've got 37 lands with the MDFCs, but 35 off the bat. Deceptive Landscape, Fabled Passage are the main crazy ones. So Horizon Canopy, these pay lands are really good, right? You pay a life to add the mana. You can also sacrifice them to draw cards. Because we are gaining life, it's nice to have these cards in the deck as well. And then the Black Gate is amazing too. Also, you can pay 3 life to have it enter untapped, and you can attack someone for free with your commander, essentially, or with someone, maybe your big creature. But yeah, let's go into a playtest of the deck here and see what's up. We do get 2 lands and some ramp, so let's go for it. Turn 1, we will play this Overgrown Tomb. Let's go ahead and pay 2 life. Go down to 38 and play this Birds of Paradise. Next turn, play the Farseek. Yeah, let's go ahead and Farseek for our Indatha Triome. I used to always call these Triomes, which I feel like is the correct pronunciation. And then, for whatever reason, I kept hearing Triome, and now that's stuck in my head. But it is Triome. But that And then we could just tap this for the Viscera Seer. If we draw land, that's great, but we drew a Lotho, which isn't bad either. So let's just tap 2 for Lotho, and then we can actually tap 2 for Ripples of Undeath, which gets us a treasure. And this is great because if we get another treasure, we can go ahead and pay the 1 and 3 life next turn, right? And then we can start a little chain of events going here. So let's assume that one person also played 2 spells on their turn, right? That typically does happen, and that'll put us down to 36 at least. So next turn, it's at the beginning of your pre-combat phase. So next turn, untap up, you draw. We did draw a land, which is amazing. That also worked if we drew a land. So beginning of your pre-combat phase, you mill 3 cards. Keen Duelist is neat, planes, and black market connections. So not ideal, but we can pay 1 and 3 life, add black market connections to our hand. So adding 3 life. So we will then pay 5, 3, 4, sacrifice token for our commander. Betor, Ancestor's Voice. We don't have the mana to play another spell, right? But if we had another treasure, we could play Heroic Intervention just because. I don't know. I don't think we would do that. But why don't we go ahead and sacrifice? Actually, yeah, we don't have to sacrifice anything because we could get our Keen Duelist out back with our commander. So moving to the end step, we didn't gain any life this turn. We did lose some life. So bring back Keen Duelist back, and then, you know, turn 5 we can start really doing stuff. With Angel of Destiny to give, you know, us lots of life gain. We can potentially, let's see if we draw Grey Merchant. So we could Grey Merchant just to gain a bunch of life, right? We would gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 life. We would gain 21 life. So that's pretty good, right? And then put 21 counters on a creature at the end step. That is pretty neat. So this deck is a little bit convoluted. You got to do a little bit of planning here, but really, really kind of a underwhelming deck to begin with, and then you can kind of get out of control. So those decks are kind of fun sometimes. We do have 2 lands and Lotho again, which is nice, and a Rampant Growth. So I say we keep it, see what happens. We draw into a greater good. So we draw another land. No land yet. That is unfortunate. We will Rampant Growth for a swamp. Next turn, we did get a land, so we will have it enter in untapped by paying 3 life. And we'll play Lotho first. And then we'll play the Swifties next to get us a treasure. And again, we're on turn 3, which is not bad. Some people, one person may have another thing, one person may not. We don't draw the land. If we did get another treasure off of our Lotho, we could play our commander and equip Foot Boots. We can start gaining life and then giving Lotho counters. Then we can play Angel of Destiny next turn to gain lots of life. And because it has double strike, then you put the counters on Angel of Destiny and just go from there, right? So that's kind of how we would do that. A lot similar to the last game. So let's just do another quick one right here. Very different hand. Let's go with it. Turn 1. Endothitrium tapped, pass. Turn 2. Play the swamp. Sakura Tribe Elder. We'll grab me a plains. Pass. Turn 3, another land. So we're getting lots of lands. Fabled Passage. Crack it. View library. You're grabbing this forest. Passing. We could Anguish of Making something if we really needed to. I don't think we do. Okay. Yeah. Just cast our commander for turn 4. We got our commander at a turn early. We're not really doing a whole lot with our commander. We need to draw more creatures to get in something. Maybe keeping a 5 land hand or 4 land hand wasn't the best, but sometimes you just don't know. Next turn, we'd get some Greaves, which isn't bad. it means we can't protect our commander anymore from a board wipe. But that's not the biggest deal in the world. I think Grease right now is fine. Start gaining some life. Yeah, swing in, gain 3 life. Probably will be Anguish on making something, and then move the next turn. Okay, having Vona is nice because we will start to be paying life, and we can also gain some life. And we can start putting +1 counters on Vona. So that's good there. So this one's a bit slower, right? We're turn 6. Not really, you know, our opponents may be more oppressive than us. There might be other stuff going on, but yeah, not a ton going on here. Let's do one more game. Okay, I like this hand a lot. We have a couple ways we could go. We have the turn 1 Serra Ascendant, which is always nice. And of course, the turn 1 Delighted Halfling, which is also great. Probably get the most value off of turn 1 Serra Ascendant, so we'll start there. Draw a card. Play a Plains, play the Serra Ascendant, and now we're a target. Turn 2, play a Forest. We could go Nature's Lore into Delighted Halfling. I don't hate that. That gives us a bit more ramp. Let's do that. And let's view into a Overgrown Tomb. Pay 2 life. Since we're going to be gaining 6 this turn anyways. Right? And then the reason we pay 2 life is so we can play the Delighted Halfling. And then attack with Serra Ascendant. Gain 4 life. Or 6 life, excuse me. And then move the next turn. We did not get the land, but we can Farseek for the Indatha Triome. I did it again. And then we still have 2 mana left for the Keen Duelist, so we can do that. And then we gain 6 more life. Alright, and then next turn, we gain for upkeep, untap, upkeep. We draw the card, we lose 0 life. And then we draw another land. Well, drawing the land's fine, that's great. Let's go ahead and play the Plains. Cast the commander. And gain 6 more life. And then we can put 6 counters on Keen Duelist, or 6 counters on Serra Ascendant if we think no one's going to remove it, but trust me, someone's going to remove it. And then we got 3 strong creatures. Doom Whisperer is really great because you can start paying life, right? Sure, we've got all this life gain, but need somewhere to lose this life too, right? But no, you could also just double down on the life gain and play like Shadowgrange Archfiend or Angel of Destiny, right? Those also work. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this deck tech. This one's pretty fun, and I hope you have fun building it. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below what you want to add, what you'd want to take out. Always happy to hear what your ideas are, and let me know what commander from Dragonstorm you want me to do a deck tech on next. I was thinking about doing the alternate of the Teamer Precon as well, just because we did take that one out too. So I'll probably be working on that one, but otherwise let me know and I'll get to work on that. Don't forget to check in to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chaoticCommanderMTG, this evening at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And make sure that if you're in the US, you've commented on all of our 5 Precon upgrades for Dragonstorm. And if you do, you will have a chance to win one of your choice anywhere in the US. And I wish you the best of luck, but make sure to watch those videos and make those comments. Take care. Bye.